Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. Hey, you already know what to do. This is the weekend. Let's go ahead and get those likes up. All right, let's keep them up like they were yesterday. I'm asking for another 2,500. We have a lot to get into. Let's get right into it. So we could see that the markets are actually trending up. The markets are trending up, and we like that. We had 3 days of recovery. At the time of filming this, of course, anything could happen. And I do mean anything. I mean, 1 minute we're up, 1 minute we're down. But we know we had this sell off on Monday, right? Monday we had this huge sell off. Then came Tuesday, up market, Wednesday up market, Thursday up market, and today we will take another up market day. All right. So what's going on? We got the NASDAQ is up really good. All right. Now, I've been sharing a portfolio with you guys. You know I got to share it today because there's a message in all of this. Please stay with me as I just try to quickly barrel through this, and then we'll get to a little crypto. All right. So we can see that the NASDAQ is up. And if the NASDAQ is up, what? Big tech is up. So now we could see that big tech is up again today after being up yesterday. Google, aka Microsoft, had good earnings. And as we could see, Tesla is absolutely mooning. Look at that. Tesla is mooning today. Why is Tesla mooning today? I pulled it up. All right, we're not going to do that. All right, Tesla stock soars after DOT unveils new self-driving car rules set for nearly 20% weekly rally. Look at that. So the DOT new car rules, or should I say self-driving car rules, I guess they're working in favor of Tesla. You can read that for yourself. I want to keep this one going. That is good news. So clearly you could see that Tesla likes this news, this report. So I'll be reporting it over the weekend, and we could see Tesla was up. I believe I saw it earlier. Look, pushing upwards of 10% today alone. I like that. I really like that. Okay. And I know you guys do too. Let's go back to big tech. We could see that the Qs are literally have ramped up a full percentage today. We like that. If you look over the last week, okay, if we look from the 21st when we started this rally, we are up by 10.61%. We'll take 9% for the week, okay? So we'll take that. Now, what I want to do is I want to share with you a few things. Let's go right into my portfolio so we can get into it, okay? So I want to show you guys this, all right, since I've been sharing it with you guys, okay? So now, this is where I started. I want to be crystal clear. So this is where this is where I started, right? I started right here, and I had these two, and this is before I had granny shots. And you can see I was up a nice, 11K, up 13%. Then what happened? Hey, money movers, market, I just want to share with you my... Sorry about that. But this was in my money moves, so I'm leaving instructions. When I first got started, I would have been freaking out here. You guys remember, if you look over in the portfolios tab, you know that some of these were up 9 to 10%. So I posted this in my money moves tab, okay? I posted this in money moves where we don't just look at options, which I'll talk about later, but I prepare you for long-term wealth. And I was showing you that all these were up by 10%. But as you can see, I started adding the ETF GRNY, granny shots, okay? Then what happened? Boom. This is what happened. I was up, but I will tell you that the truth be told, I lost every bit of that 11,000 at the bottom, right? So that 11,000 at the bottom, totally lost it on this dump, okay? Then I started buying my way down. So now what I want you to do is I want you to look at the top, cash. So I added more cash as the market was coming down, and it was a nice piece of change. And then here's where we are right now. So you guys saw Yesterday I showed you where I was $12,000 down. So what did I do? I started buying big tech on my way down. And now you could see I am flat now. So I literally bought my way down, and then the market turned around and came back up. I'm now flat. So here's what I want to show you guys that don't understand this. The next time I'm up by 5%, I'm going to be way more in profit because I put in more money while the QQQ was down, while I put in more money while VUG was down in correction territory. All right. While VTI was down, while QQQ was down by 20%, from 14% down to 20%, while Granny Shots was down by 15%. So now I dispersed all of that cash while the market was on discount, and now it's slowly coming back. Now I could set a stop loss on every single one of these right now and just save my cash if I thought that the market was going to tank or go back down to Liberation Day lows. Follow? So this is how you make money and be patient for what? The long run. Then here is the growth portfolio I've been sharing with you all week. Please go back and see that now I am up 71% by not selling. And I've been letting the money moves know that I was buying a firm. I was buying SoFi and a firm mainly, and I added a little bit to my Palantir. Okay, you could see that. Palantir, I'm up 146% in this portfolio alone. And at the top, what do you have? Cash. So remember, I've been telling you guys that this is not checkers, good people. This is chess, all right? It's not checkers, it's chess. And you have to have a calculated move. Now, that is one of the things that I know when it comes to my money. My moves are very calculated because I can count, good people. I can count. I can always count my money, okay? And so being strategically positioned to earn, and while others are fearful, we were brave and we bought. And so here is the reward, even in our individual stock and in our ETFs. Okay, good people? So that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Now, let's talk about something else, right? Before we go into crypto, okay? Here's one of the things that's going on that I want you to be leery of, and then I want to play a video about consumer sentiment. You know what? I'm going to play the video about consumer sentiment first because it's letting you know what investors are thinking, okay? So just listen to this and we'll go from there.
The working wealthy.
Exactly, the working wealthy. You know, an important gauge of consumer sentiment was released earlier today, and it shows a decline across age, education, and income. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index for April fell for the fourth straight month, plunging 8% from March. Sentiment has now lost more than 32% since January. Now, among higher income consumers who are more invested in the stock market, the outlook is particularly negative. Bain & Company reports the consumer outlook among upper-income Americans earning $100,000 a year or more had its sharpest drop in April and is near its lowest level in 7 years. And a CNBC SurveyMonkey poll finds the vast majority of Americans are stressed out about their finances, including high earners. More than 1,700 U.S. adults with six-figure incomes were surveyed the first week of April. 69% say tariffs are causing them financial stress. And as a result of tariff news, 1/3 say they've delayed or avoided purchases. 14% say they've stocked up, and about half say they've made no changes. However, there is often a disconnect between what consumers say and what they do, and that can make it difficult to predict how much of an impact the decline in consumer sentiment will actually have on future spending.
So, guys, you see, that is one of the things I want you to be aware of. This was not market induced. This was not a crash or correction. This whole thing was tariff induced. And you have to keep that in the back of your mind. And I want you to push past what the problem is and see what the solution is. What's going to happen when tariffs are done? When everything is done and the market has a clear path, the market could rebound. Though that comes with caution because there is a lot of uncertainty as it pertains to the U.S. and China relations. Listen to this.
Interview published this hour, President Trump telling Time magazine that he is still convinced tariffs are necessary. He said, quote, "The bond market was getting the yips, but I wasn't." And he said he would consider it a, quote, total victory if the U.S. still has tariffs as high as 50% on foreign imports a year from now. Now, on China, President Trump says that President Xi has called him and that his administration is in active talks with Beijing to strike a deal. He said he expects to have a full slate of deals announced over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So he's now put a timeline on it. He says that he's in talks with China genuinely, but he also said that he wants tariffs and he would be fine, more than fine, with more than 50%. I would imagine, I don't know when this interview was conducted, but if this was yesterday, I mean, if we're in real time, I would think that would scare you.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think it would scare the market.
That's concerning because I would say most market participants you talk to say that they would understand 10% tariffs and be able to manage around that. Higher tariffs, particularly 50% higher, would be a really big deal. And I've been doing some reporting around the conversations that the big retailers have had with the president earlier this week, trying to figure out their concerns and what they're raising to the president on it. Look, one of the issues is if you keep the tariffs as is at 145% on China, that's going to mean very serious things. For a family that has a baby, you're required by law to go buy a baby seat, a car seat. Right now, that costs $350. In a few months, if that's still 145% tariffs, that's going to cost $720.
So, guys, that's what's going on right now. The fact of the matter is those tariffs are not going to be that high. They can't maintain. I understand that this is a bargaining tool, and so the whole thing is on tariffs. Now, if the talks fall apart, then the market is going back down, and we can only teeter-totter so long, at these levels before the market goes, okay, I told you we're just going to go ahead and go into a recession. And those are the risk. So my question to you, I showed you what my strategy was. I showed you how I executed. And I showed you how I went back, bought my way down and got my money back. And not just in stocks, but in crypto. Now, someone asked me the other day, and they asked me, they was polite that way. They asked me, they said, "Larry, I thought you said you stopped out of your buys." But I also told you guys, if you're listening, and everybody in my money moves, which is a lot of people in there, not only have I told them, I showed them what I was buying with stocks and crypto. And I just started DCAing all over again, right? And so, everything I say is legit. And look, I show you guys my, if I talk about a win, I talk about a loss. No one wins all of the time. So look at this, good people. Bitcoin, it was just at 95K, up 12%. Look at that, all right? It is actually, Bitcoin is outperforming just about everything. Now, I've been telling you guys 80%, and that has never changed. 80% of everything I own is Bitcoin. So I'm good with Bitcoin. And I started buying again last year, 2 years ago now, actually, about 16 months ago, 18 months ago. I started buying Bitcoin when it was 20, all right? Bought a little when it was 18. The video was live. Josh and myself, we said, hey, Josh said, it's the bottom. I started buying. And then I started buying more at 20, and then I bought more at 24. And I still have that, all right? And so this is all about buying fear and selling greed. And then, you know what's doing well for me? And I talked about it yesterday. My SUI is doing well for me. SUI is absolutely killing it. Look at that, up 67%, right? And then here, this is the gauge, good people. I just keep it simple. This is the gauge. And then we look at memes. You know what has come back? And I started buying again, and I shared it with my people. Bunk. Look at that. Bunk is up 33%, right? Look at that. on the 7-day period. Bunk is up 33%. I'm up about 34%. That's where I'm up at. Yeah. So you can see SHIB's up 12, Floki up 30. You know, you can see it. All of these. Yeah, I'm not in this one. For those of you that have this one, congratulations, you're up 76%. I'm not in it. I'm just telling you guys that I did not catch that train. I'm not in it. For those of you that have it, congratulations. But you know, I just want to say with stocks and crypto, you can set stop losses. And when the market gets this unsure, you can set your stop losses in things that you have been what? DCAing in, right? Dollar cost averaging in, all right? And so I want to show you guys how being strategic actually works for you, okay? Let me see if I can show this. Now I'm going to show this. So let's look at that. This was something that I shared with you guys that I've been DCAing in. Look at that. Baba down 7. Look at that. Meta down. Nvidia, Amazon down. But as I scroll up, Microsoft up 7%, but not a lot in there, right? MicroStrategy up 34%. Not a lot in there. I start DCAing those slowly. Carvana, look at that, up 29%. Again, wish I'd went in heavier. And then Snow, I'm up 3%, right? Costco, I'm up 6%. Look at that. Tesla, I'm up 9%. Palantir, I'm up 28%. So if you look at this portfolio based on how it performed today, I'm up overall. And that's what portfolio is about. Now, this was a portfolio we started just a couple of weeks ago. I shared it with my money moves. I said, hey, I'm just going to dollar cost average, right? And that's what I did. I simply dollar cost average. And then at some point I stopped, right? So I show you guys, I just want you guys to, in all that getting, get an understanding. I want you to learn and earn. That is what I'm saying to you guys. So at the end of the day, over all of the political stuff and all of the back and forth and all of the back and forth, at the end of the day, you'll be able to say, at least Stock Up told us the truth. And he didn't just complain, but he showed us a way to profit from all of this. And I want you to take that for the rest of your life and understand that when the market goes down, stocks and crypto, there is a time that you should be buying, right? Is it over yet? No, it won't be over until a deal is done. So Monday, I could get wiped out by Monday, right? But I got stop losses set, right? To protect my capital so I can buy down deep, right? So you let me know. I want you to be honest with me. Say, Larry, I didn't believe it when you were buying. I thought it was a bad idea and I didn't. Or say, I was picking up what you was putting down and I did and I'm glad I did. Or just say, I was just too afraid. I just want to see where we are at so we can all learn and earn together. Now, here's a place where most of us could learn options. And I am doing options for dummies here in Money Moves. I got options class, options for dummies. And it's not calling you a dummy like Wall Street calls you dumb money. It's off of the Dummy series books. Anything you want to do, there's a Dummy series. And that's how I learned, okay? One of the books that I've learned investing the most of that really jump-started me was Investing for Dummies. And so that's what this options class is. It's a monthly subscription period. Get in or get out whenever you want to. It's less than $1 a day, right? I'm going to leave it right there, good people. I hope you have a blessed weekend. And remember, when everything and there's turmoil going on, always remember, keep your eye on the money. Keep your eye on the prize. There's always opportunity and opposition. All right? I love you guys for real, though. I love you enough to tell you the truth. Live, love, laugh, and learn.